This recent changing of the IC, if it's voluntary, to Nonya Baba, then what happens in the next generation if they don't consider themselves Nonya Baba, but they are being put down there as Nonya Baba?
Can you all hear from the back the question? Okay. What happens to the next generation?
Well, I think the question was that if the parents now decided to change or update their uh, birth certificate and IC as Baba and the descendants of Baba and Nyonya, how about their children? Should they not want, right? Or was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should that person not consider themselves a Nonya Baba, but if he is already put on his birth cert by his parents, Nonya Baba?
Okay. So I think if your parents is a Baba and Nyonya, if that child, for whatever reason, do not want to be identified as Baba and Nyonya, well, it's not for us to say. Maybe he or she wants to denounce his or her ethnicity for whatever reason. Then, likewise, they have to go through the legal process again. If you know that, you can go, maybe you have to go to JPN and say that, oh, perhaps for whatever reason, my parents forged their identity or something, because it's not for us to say whether you can or you cannot. Yeah, because this is something that, let's say you are born a Chinese, you would forever be a Chinese. It's not like citizenship that you can just denounce. Oh, I don't want to be Malaysian today, then I want to migrate over. You can. But for something about Baba and Nyonya, things like this, ethnicity, I don't know how it works. Maybe you can go to the government department to ask them, maybe along the way, I don't want really somehow. Yeah, I think you have to go, like change of name, you have to go to the court, some legal thing, and then swear that, oh, I'm from now on, I would be known as so and no longer so and so, things that you have to go through the procedure. I believe you will have to go through similar procedure, I suppose, because so far I've not encountered. I'm also not with the government department to know about that. Yeah? Yeah. Yes, Nyonya Julie.
Hello, good evening. My apology that I've been late. I'm sorry that I missed it.
Your question?
Yeah, I just got back 2 days ago from Malacca.
A quick one.
To answer your question is that when you are carrying your baby, then after birth, the baby is automatically Peranakan Nyonya, Baba Nyonya. But if the baby is already born, then they have a choice to trace back their descendant. Every individual, when they get married, they are different. They're different status. They're married to Muslim, married to Indian, married to Chinese. They are not from origin of Baba and Nyonya. Then that is very tricky. You have to go a lot with JPN, a lot of paperwork, and you have to go through this. If you really want to be a Nyonya, you're not doing it for anything. You're doing it for your heritage, your community, and you yourself, you're doing it. You're not doing it for anyone else. And be proud of it. That's all I want to say. Thank you. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you, Julie. Any more questions? Yes. Thank you.
I'm Lee. I'm actually Kelantanese, but born in Singapore.
Malay.
Malay and Muslim. No worries. I've worked in places like Sabah, Sarawak, where they have the bean and minty. This identity thing has always been a crisis, especially for us, and now it's even worse. Especially when you look into the generation gap, you have the Gen Zs, the millennials, and so forth. Do you know if you have kids in certain schools, like for example, some of you rather go for private and so forth, for these schools, the elite, when they start talking in perfect English, they lose their identity. As I was also with a friend from Singapore yesterday, one was a Eurasian and one was a Chinese Singaporean. They even started to talk to me in Malay, like trying to have a whole sentence in Malay perfectly well. Because I think they are also grasping for identity. We have a problem with identity. When I was in Sabah, when I was hiring people, I didn't ask them whether they are Malay, Chinese, or Indian. I asked them their name and their religion. Believe it or not. I have a staff who has his name spelled out Anton LaVey. Anybody knows who's Anton LaVey? If you guys read, Anton LaVey is the Satan's priest in Texas. He's an actual person. I'm serious. He's an actual person in Texas. He was a priest, but he does devil worshiping. So my great chap here, this boy who was supposed to be in my landscape department, his name was Anton LaVey. And I had a shock and I said, and what is your religion? And this is the best part. He was Muslim. And I told him, go straight to JPN, put $200 and start changing your name or you'll be in trouble. I also had, this, the ethnic group in Sabah. They come in as being Chinese and next thing you know, in the IC there's a Bin and Binti. And they are qualified for Bumi Putra status. This is all because of Tun Fuad Stevens' smart deliberation in those days with regards to nationality and so forth. It has always been a problem. It has always been a problem, but what had happened was we had a group of people, a panel group of people, to talk about these challenges, about even Peranakan. It's back to education, I believe. It is sense of awareness, because currently, the alpha and the beta, they don't even want to identify themselves. Just being Malaysian is fine with me. They would not say I'm Chinese or Malay or Indian. They would just belt out I'm Malaysian. So it is a challenge in terms of identity. I was in a hotel, I was doing HR. So, and in Kelantan, this is the best part, I come back to Kelantan, it's always ruled by women. These women are beautiful Kelantanese princesses, the three princesses from Kelantan, the Putri Ungu, Putri Kuning, Putri Hijau. These are beautiful princesses. And the people who come and hail before the queen was the Chinese, the Arabs, the Champas. We were the Kepulauan Melayu, the Sundaland. So they all came and hailed. That's why we had the Kelantanese, the South Patani, Yalan, the people are all different. The mentality is different. The Chinese in Kelantan are different. They are more Baba Nyonya than Baba Nyonya. And they have Malay names, and they even read Jawi. And they're wealthy, because they're very entrepreneurial, smart people, the Chinese. So those of you who've never been to Kelantan, please do so, and meet the Chinese people of Kelantan. And they are already very much instilled and have the feet on the ground that they are Kelantanese. If you're a Kelantanese, regardless whether you're Chinese or Indian, we will protect each other. That's how we felt. So, like what we have today, it's good because the Peranakan should also protect each other. So I think awareness is an important thing right now. Before even going to deliberate and get yourself, I want to be a Baba Nyonya, make sure they know what they're doing and they are firm of the identity that they wish to instill in them. The job, not even the job, born in them, ingrained in them. And like singing, she was saying that she's not Baba Nyonya, but I tell you, I would take her and adopt her as a Baba Nyonya. I want to look at her, she's so Yves Saint Laurent, with all the clothing. Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Yes,
Auntie Lily, I just want to say something. Okay.
oh, that's okay. We'll start from there. Gentleman, is it a gentleman or lady from the back? I can't see. Lady from the back, yes.
Hi, I'm Patricia. I'd like to check with you all if our maternal parents and grandparents are Baba Nyonyas, but our father is not. So can we claim ourselves as Nyonyas?
Yes. It's a culture. Never mind. Can you hear me? I'm sure you're loud enough. It's
Turn on the other one.
But anyway, coming back to the question, it shouldn't be a problem. You see, why? If we think back again, most of us, the so-called true blue Baba and Nyonya, true blue lah, don't know how blue you are, so I don't know. Okay, but if you look at our ancestors, the very first one, male ancestors, the first one, most of our ancestors are from China, married Nyonya, maternal side ma. Right, and then the generations after it, wow, also true blue. Coming back to your question, what makes you think that you are less a Nyonya? If your paternal side is not one, maybe your grandfather or just your grandmother is one, you still one, provided you live like one and you're proud to be one. Same goes for all of us, because along the way, one of our first male ancestors must come from China, or else where's the Lee, my Lee came from? Lim, Chua, semua Cina lah, kan? We all in Malacca say, kita bukan Cina. I was like, very funny. Then your surname Ong, all that mana datang? Pungut. Sometimes we tend to forget, yeah, that along the way we try to claim, we are so true blue, we are all 100% pure blood, Baba Nyonya, tak ada campur. Abi, Numia Cho semua mana datang? Somehow sail from China all the way to Southeast Asia, and then could have taken Nyonya wives and became the generations after that living a Baba Nyonya lifestyle and eventually become one. Likewise, today, if you register at the association, we will consider yourself as a Baba or Nyonya as long as one, either maternal or paternal side, is of Baba Nyonya lineage. Because why then you would live as one. Yeah, I hope I have made it clear there.
yes.
Okay.
For those at the back, cannot hear.
Hi everyone. Just want to say that going to what Nick said about visiting Kelantan, I have the very good fortune of going on tour, the Peranakan Baba Nyonya tour of Kelantan and Terengganu with Auntie Lily and people over there. But it was a really wonderful tour.
I went.
I never knew how beautiful those states are and how beautiful the people there are. So thank you, Auntie Lily. Great memories. Yeah.
Jennifer or something? Jennifer.
Jennifer. Jennifer. Yes. Sorry. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Stand here, can see my beautiful. Sorry to talk to me. Okay, some of you know that I'm Chetty Laka of Peranakan Indian. We coexisted at the same time at the Peranakan Baba Nyonya. I'm from Malacca too. I think the definition of what you asked about being Baba Nyonya, it also same for Chetty Laka. One of our parents is Chetty Laka. For example, my dad is Chetty Laka, but my mom is not, she's Indian. Also, I want to tell you that Indians find strange when we speak Malay among each other. Look, you're supposed to speak Tamil, right? So when we have exhibition and we talk about the language, we have extreme Indian people who actually sort of like verbally accuse us because we don't speak Tamil, but these are our challenges from those who are not Chetty Laka. And I think we also like Kabaya because you see the key word that I was looking from the three of you is cultural assimilation, because we assimilated into the local culture. So the same thing, for example, for Chetty Laka, on Deepavali, the normal things for Indians is tose and chicken curry, but for Chetty Laka, actually it's roti jala. It's not tose, roti jala, that's actually because we have assimilated with the local culture. Right? And of course, the Indians came in 3 waves. Basically, in few thousand years ago, first century, there was Srivijaya and Shanti, things like that. The Chetty is the second wave. So there's a bit different. And we have a heritage village in Malacca, it's called Gajabera. And we all always go to school in Telangana where we Imam Chetty Naka and Baba Nyonya. Means they're very close. Because most of the Chetty Naka people will adopt a baby from the Chinese family or Baba Nyonya family, right? And some of the typical Chetty Naka boys look like Malay. And I have cousins caught by the police during Ramadan because they were caught. So they have to show this happened to my cousins because they look Malay. That's how typical they look, Malay look, you see. So we have some of the challenges, but the main thing is, I think we talk about definition. In fact, some of my cousins who married non-Chetty, alright, they assimilated into the culture. So they also call themselves Chetty Naka because they assimilated into the husband's family. And also, they have to go through a ritual called Masuk India. So if the wives are not Christians or Muslims, they have to go to a ceremony and change to a Hindu name, but not in the IC. So I'm also from UK. I wrote the thesis on that. So just to let you know, culture is very rich in Malacca. In fact, you also have Jawi Peranakan, even the Portuguese is also Peranakan. Okay, thank you very much.
That was a statement, not a question. I just want to ask a question. In our birth certificate, we put religion, we put race. You're saying that changing it into what? Cina Baba, Cina Noya apa?
Sorry, I don't need to walk up and down. No, okay, we have also been asked quite frequently about this question. Once you change to Baba Nyonya, are we still Chinese? Now, we have made it very clear with JPN, and then they have also very firmly assured us that by changing this Baba and Nyonya, not changing is updating, we are still Chinese. Why? Baba and Nyonya, they consider it as keturunan. Cina is kaum, race. Baba Nyonya is keturunan, descent. So when you update your birth cert, it has got nothing to do whether you are Chinese, you are still Chinese or not. You are still Chinese. Only thing keturunan Baba Nyonya. Because why? If you look at JPN's record, which is not made public actually, you have got Cina Hokkien, China Cantonese, China Teochew. So we have added another one, China Baba Nyonya. Okay, so even the Cantonese, the Hainanese is still there, written there as they are still considered as China, but it's only thing in your
Dialect group.
is your dialect or your keturunan is considered there, I mean stated there as Hainanese or Cantonese or whichever dialect you belong to. Yes.
So then what happens, I'm just asking this theoretically, what happens to Indians then? Indian
The Indians also they have got Malayali, so many different ethnic. But for Chetis, I do not know why because together with Ronald who met PM then, the Cheti also because our booth is just opposite each other at that time. So so we had the same conversation. We were both called to Putrajaya to have the meeting. Unfortunately, for our Chetty, Peranakan Chetty, I do not know why the JPN officers told us that their documents is not belum cukup. That was what they said. So they have to delay their that process. Yeah, I do not know why. Yeah. Yeah, that was why. Yeah, they are also. I mean, it's at the same time they asked and it's together. The application was together. It's just that theirs was put on hold due to lack of some documentations. I do not know what documentations that they have. I think probably because, I do not know, I'm just guessing, because there's no Chetty association in Malacca, KL. There's no Chetty association in Malacca. It's a trust that governs the temple. So there's no JT association, there's no president for the JT association. That was something a bit complicated there because there's no spokesperson. Something I do not know. I do not know. So that was a bit. They said there were lack of some documentations, and also I think they cannot produce a list of membership names. I think something like that. I do not know exactly. Yeah. So that is just to answer your question. By the way, Jennifer, I'm your classmate's cousin. Mabel Yap, Mabel Yap.
Any more questions from the floor? If not, I will pose them a very difficult question. Now, Tian just now mentioned that if a person who dress like a Nyonya or Mama, speaks like a Baba Nyonya, acts like a Baba Nyonya, eat like a Baba Nyonya, eat like fingers and whatever, are they considered Baba Nyonya? And he says, yes, that can be. I said, no, you can't. You know why? Because there is economic opportunity and commercialization involved. Why people now claim to be Baba Nyonya for very specific reasons? They can make a living out of it, and people can. And this is where the danger comes from. They are invited to give talks, to give whatever advice on TV or whatever, and they give it the wrong information. For instance, if I were to consult a Nyonya lady or a Mama cook, whatever, I want to know the authentic ingredients inside their recipe, right? I don't want somebody who professes to be a Baba Nyonya but is not. You didn't grow up with the culture, you didn't grow up with the food, how would you know? You didn't grow up with your grandmother or whatever, how would you know what are the ingredients, what are the subtleties involved? So it's very dangerous. So they want to profess to be Baba Nyonya, they can, but you have to have a disclaimer that you didn't grow up with the culture, don't mislead, because misleading the public is one of the dangers. Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny. I think, yes, don't get me wrong, they can live, it's not us to say that they cannot. But then again, coming back to Johnny's remarks is also very true. Misleading is very bad. So that is why it is for us to educate the people who are the real Baba and Nyonya. So that these people would know, to identify and go to when for consultation and so on, go to those who really is of the community and not someone who camouflage themselves and self-proclaim Baba and Nyonya, self-proclaim Baba and Nyonya. Or I better not go on. It's recorded. Okay, so what to do? We cannot force people from, or we cannot ask them, hey, you're not one, you better do live like one, you better do wear kebaya. Who are we to say that? But then again, it's also our role to play that, to make sure people know who are the actual Baba and Nyonya. And that is our part to play. Because why there are also, it goes to any other profession as well. Like you can say that, oh, I'm a celebrity chef, but whether that person really is or can cook or not, we do not know. You see, yeah. So we can't say that he is not. If he's on the talk show, whatever, he got money, he got a team of people. Yeah. So it happens to other community and other profession as well. So I think what we can do here today is, we ourselves safeguard our own culture, and at the same time promote and educate and create awareness to the public on the actual Baba Nyonya heritage. And then only people will know, okay, they can differentiate, like for example, they can differentiate between the chendol and, something that looks like chendol but not chendol. Like nasi lemak, we can very well tell that this is a nasi lemak because there is santan inside, things like that. And then rather compared to just a plain rice without the lemak. which is people try to claim that it's a nasi lemak. Yeah, so I think we have to do that. By that only, we can help to promote the actual and real people who is promoting and preserving our culture, rather than letting these people all claiming they are one, and then not really promoting our real culture. I've seen a lot, serious. Sometimes, then what to do?
Ken and I share the same views. That's why in closing I had said, I had mentioned, some proclaim experts who spew nonsense, making use of the culture, commodifying it, as what Johnny was trying to say. You already mentioned it, this is what is happening. And the reason why I'm doing all this, I'll tell you why. Because I'm doing it on my own, with support from my family, sometimes Johnny. I'm not sponsored by any association, it's because it's at my age, it's frustrating to see influencers, even news media, who the journalists don't do their due diligence, and they come up with information that is all wrong. And instead of telling, I think I'm very bad-tempered sometimes, I'm outspoken, but I've decided that instead of telling, correcting them, I have chosen to do this events, to put things right. I'm not going to say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm just telling you what is right, what is right, what is right. This is what I want to do. So I mentioned earlier, there are people are giving the wrong information, and this is the danger. So we are trying to make sure there's no such thing as true Nyonya Baba's honesty. Come on, man. Anybody? And how many generations? Please don't tell me your 10th generation. If your first ancestor came, he was a Chinaman, and even my grandparents' generation, before they became rich, they were just in quite big land. It means locally born Chinese. You can be locally born Chinese, you can be straight-born Chinese, doesn't necessarily mean you have adopted, you have evolved, and you have become a Nyonya Baba. You don't practice the culture. You can't afford to practice the culture in the beginning. They came with the shirts on their back. What culture are you talking about? Typical Chinese traditions, yes, you follow, you try, but where is the culture? And when you talk about Peranakan culture, Nyonya Baba culture, Peranakan Chinese culture, what do you think of first? Lovely furniture, right? Your Nyonya fire, your jewelry, your porcelain, and if you're not rich, come on. Can you afford that honestly? So it has to get the culture actually started, because I'm very proud of being a Peranakan. You can see the whole row of big houses in Penang, but these were all owned by families who became rich and started practicing the culture. And this is where I'm the poor descendant now, but that is what the culture was then. So, sorry, I'm being very I'm passionate about getting it right. Because you can be from Malacca, you have your different way of practicing. You can be from KL, you can be from Kelantan. I love Khao, okay? I love Khao, and you can be from the Terengganu. They call themselves Chingwana. They don't call themselves Nyonya Babas. They call themselves Chingwana. Originally, well, it was not so nice, but they now call themselves Chingwana. So they also have their own way of doing things. Typically Hokkien. They're also typically Hokkien. But they have been on the East Coast Whereas in those days, there wasn't much traffic between the West Coast and the East Coast. So their influence was more Singapore because the trading was with Singapore. So for us, Malacca and Penang, the Malaccans, like I said, had a longer history. A lot of them came from Indonesia. And the Singaporeans were actually those that left Malacca and they started it. So, okay, let's not talk about Singapore and making everything is Peranakan, they have the best, and they come up with so here we are, trying to just try and get things right, because there is resurgence and lots of people now are interested. So let's get it right from day one, you know, so that try to if somebody tells you your Chinese ancestors were topless before they went to Kabaya, how do you feel? You know, and they come up with that and we're like, my Chinese ancestors were civilized people. They were more civilized than the people here when they came. They were topless.
No, I wasn't born yet.
I was born yet. But that's what people say. And they go around, oh, before you all Kabaya, you all, and the Nyonyas were topless. I said, your grandmother was topless. This is the right Sorry. Okay.
Never in a million years.
It's in the news. Come on.
First and foremost, I would like to thank you for organizing this lecture. This is my second time attending your lecture. One question is, of course, it's given that every Peranakan family members with those who has children, educating your own kids, of course, begins from home. Correct? So what happens when they go to school? Does the Peranakan culture and how you basically behave as one, is it included in your local curriculum? Okay? And the last one is, what I would like to bring up is obviously the Little Nyonya TV series was quite successful. Correct me if I'm wrong. And also the Emerald Hill is quite successful. But most of them, of course, are from Singapore culture where I lived for 28 years. So, like for example, in Malacca, when Malacca consider having another series, or Penang, another series of Peranakan cultures, and you may consider it as your fourth education because they watch it on TV and series. So for you, that's another outlet of re-educating your children. I'm one of those who basically lived in Singapore, appreciated the culture, appreciated the good food, and raised my one. So I think I shared enough, and you may want to consider having another series, Malacca area and time.
Sorry, can I just add on to it? If there is such a series, please speak in proper Matwa. Please you must get the Tanguran and you must speak in the proper Matwa because otherwise it never works.
This is going to be my personal view. Okay, I'm not going to agree with either of you. What is patois? What is patois? No, what is patois? If I speak Hokkien. I cannot understand his Baba Malay. So what is patois? Okay, if I have Dr. Sivago in Russian, can you understand me?
That is different.
No, this is not, oh, Little Nyonya is rubbish, okay? I will tell you each Nyonya in her right mind will be wearing kebaya and sarong and tepuk. Who will carry a container on a wedding day? So, if you're going to watch any TV drama, please take it as it's theater, it's a movie, just for entertainment. Okay, I have to tell you, I was actually the consultant, Kabaya consultant for the Little Nyonya, the China version. So everything was in Mandarin in China, and I was a consultant. But people look, how can you do it? I said, I'm the consultant. The costume director has the final say. I can tell him what is right, what is wrong, but he is the costume designer. He decides. So he wants to make it more beautiful because it looks more beautiful on screen. But it doesn't happen in real life. Just like you don't wear kebaya and to any of you do that? I'll take my hat off you. Talking about Mandarin for the Little Nyonya, unfortunately, they decided that's the language they want the Singaporeans to do it. It's just like, you know, we have German, nice German stories on films and all that. If they were in that language internationally, we cannot understand. So language is killer. If you want to watch it, read the subtitles. Because honestly, patois is, I'm one of those that don't speak Baba. Yes, Ken.
Actually, I thought Emily wrote to scrub to write a little bit of patois, but it was in English. Because the whole premise of the culture, actually I am a Baba, but I can identify as what I can. Some people identify as but I am a Baba. I'm visiting the world. You know that I make and say, you will know she's a Nyonya. I don't know how you know, but you will know. She just looks like a Nyonya. It's insane. It's like, it's just insane. So the language is very important. If you don't have any part of the language, in any part of the series, in any part of the film, at least a little bit to, because instead of having a basic drama, if you don't have the sayings or the accent of the day, if there's Charles Dickens speaking in the modern way of speaking English, it doesn't bring. You didn't have to have the same sort of things, but the expressions of idioms people might not understand how you change it. It's like Shakespeare. You see the I think now. So you can make it more understandable to the present generation. But it is still the language it still has close to some except the little changes in the name. You slow down certain messages, the words you cannot change. If you do that, then it will appeal to the modern audience. But you cannot make it too modern until you go like this. But the language is very important.
Thank you, Ken. I have this, my personal view. You know, I grew up in Japan. Nobody calls this Gaya. It is one of the things. And we never use the word Topachang. It's the mo. So don't come and tell me that, you know, I must have my patois. It doesn't work. Sorry, I have to say it. It's just a movie.
if the director is then it's different. Then people will take, oh, she calls it this, she calls it that. Then it's partly educational. Otherwise, the whole culture will be lost. Everything will be under Peranakan. Everything can be Peranakan. The modern thing can be Peranakan. I know of sorry, I'm so passionate about this, but some people people say, oh, I just think different things, different elements together. There's a museum.
There's no right or wrong.
I think you know whose museum it is.
Even
With a big sign that is so proud about that sign. And it's from a Chinese restaurant.
There's no right
We
or
call
wrong.
it a Peranakan museum. And it kind of
You can say right thing.
I never just thinking from a Chinese restaurant that the federal restaurant, you take the very good thing and then you cook it in the Peranakan thing and you say this is my new version of Peranakan. It cannot simply, because Peranakans don't have dragons. Peranakans are not descendants of the dragons, as we say. So when people say that, oh, this mask is a Peranakan mask, but it's got dragons in it. Why? Because for the altar, for the box, with the dragon is on the box. You don't have to be, you don't know, if you look, how to say, I'm a
Right? Certainly at the quality right. So there's no right and wrong.
Otherwise, our culture will be eaten up by the Chinese.
We will have to do another session. That will be on culture. Right today, we are talking about.
Yes.
Yes, we understand. So the culture part is going to be another session. Ken, I hope you will be here. So, yes.
You may want to consider including the reality TV show because that's the
Sorry?
Reality TV show.
TV show discussing the real
There's so much discussion. Yeah, so it's going to be. Yeah. So for today, I think we need to close.
About the education aspect, it's not just us.
Yes.
Yeah, the thing is that in Malaysia, we only have got the mention of Papua community in our textbook. That's all. And I think it's just a short paragraph and not really a course by itself. I don't think there are any other cultural groups except for co-curriculum, I think. So, and also it's a minority thing. So what we have is just mainly at the association, what we are doing, promoting our culture. We don't have it at the school level. And also coming back to the Little Nyonyas TV series and so on. Well, they came to us actually. We gave our advice, but then again, it's their call, because it's their show. The producer has got the final say. Yeah, so it's like so many of us complain. They say nobody's forcing you to watch. If you don't feel like watching, just off the TV. If you feel like watching, enjoy it lah. If you don't have to critique, media corp don't do a good job, the consultants all don't know what they are talking about, just don't watch, nobody is forcing you. Yeah? But of course, at the association's level, they try. But that's again, you don't have the funding to produce TV series and so on, you don't have the means to also produce it. So we did theatre. Yeah, that is the best that we can already. Like Pearly is also here. Yeah, she has done how many rounds?
36 years, 241 days.
Those are the things that we can do at our own capacity. We cannot be doing TV shows or documentaries. We would like to. We have already got a few documentaries on Nyonyas, but then TV series I don't think we can except for Uncle Kenny Chan those days. But now I was told by RTM that they stopped everything already because of the track issue. Yeah, one last question perhaps.
Thank you very much for organizing this session.
Yes, right. Okay, anyway, right. Coming at this, thank you, Auntie Lily, for organizing this session. Right. Would there be another continuation of this? Because number one, because continuing with her answer, her question just now, right? And also what we studied in history, Peranakan culture was supposedly started when the Emperor Jingho came to China. That's right, exactly. If you say this, if you agree this answer right, right? That means what we studied in history is totally wrong. So the whole history was to be thrown away. That means that there is, or rather there will be other ways how the Peranakan culture came to be, which is definitely not by intermarriage with Malays, because at the time they were Muslims. And of course, if they were Muslims and they were as tenacious as now, I hope I won't get in trouble with the police later. And we will be Muslims by now, right? If they are not that tenacious, that means okay, it's fine to marry Muslim and the convert blah blah and the children will still be Buddhist blah blah. Okay, then fine, we will have the Peranakan culture. Or is it that Chinese families came from China to Malaysia and they adopted the Malay culture? If it's not, then how did this culture come about?
Let's do it another session. Let's do it another session. Okay. We all have our views. Okay. Let's go back to history, check it out, and we'll have another session. So for the next session, I'm doing is on Peranakan, authentic Peranakan cuisine. So one at a time. So 10th of May, I'm already set the date. 10th of May, I'm going to have a Peranakan chef, okay, a Peranakan food writer, and a Chetty lady who will talk about their cuisine. So we will start from there. May sponsor me lah. So we will keep on talking about the culture, because for me, I will tell you my views. Checo, yes, he's Chinese. He came. He was a goodwill thing, but where did the culture come from? Not him. So don't talk about 1400. We are talking about 18, 1900. Huh?
All the symbols can be thrown away.
You tell me Hangdimo never happened, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Because they have the royal surname of the name is true.
Now you come and tell Auntie Lily lah. Okay? I didn't do research. And you come up with stories, but can you back it up? Yeah. I back up what I say because I have family history. I'll tell you exactly when my grandfather came from. A great-grandfather, because I went to Ang Hoi in China, Angxi in China, exactly his house. I've been there, I know exactly, because he, of course, became somebody else. So there are books written about him. So I'm not bluffing you. I can go back to China and show you exactly where I was, and his house is still there. So unless you can prove otherwise, don't cut and paste. A lot of people are just picking here, picking there, and they're coming up with stories that are not true. Like I said, who was your grandmother who was topless? Come on, man. Show me your grandmother was topless before she walked a fire. Then I'll say, yes, sir, I'll bow down to you. But until you do that, please don't come up with stories. So, like I said, I'm doing this because there are lots of things being said. Social influencers, people I think should know better, but because they want to make a name for themselves, commodify it. So shall we end today? Thank you very much to my panel, Tian and very quiet, Johnny. Can we have a good photograph before we go? Yes, can we take it? Closer, closer. Yes.